Hi Dylan, thank you for sending your work. That's really, really helpful. So I'm looking it over, and for part one, I would have one little correction that I would have you make, and that would be that what you calculated so far is the error for one of those columns or rectangles under the curve. And so when you compare that to the definition that he's asking you to prove, I think he is looking for you to end up here, right? And you notice how the n is not squared in the denominator, but what you've got for your area here would definitely give you an n squared in your denominator. The reason for that is that you're just looking at one of the n rectangles, and so in terms of the total area under the curve, I'll just call that TA, you would have to multiply then by n what you've got for your solution here. And so one of your, I guess another way to write that would be, if I got rid of the brackets here, let me see if we can write this a little bit better so it makes more sense. B minus A all squared over n squared, and then you would take the n's and cross out that n with one of your n squareds here. That will then give you the formula that you're looking for. Okay, so you need to make that adjustment there, I think. Now, for the second one, instead of finding your antiderivative, I think the question is referring to the slope, right? Because it's building back from question one, where m is the slope, and we're using that to enable us to find the area of our rectangle. So if we're finding the slope, then what you're looking for here is not the antiderivative, but the derivative. That doesn't show up very good. Hang on a minute. Y prime. So the derivative of the function that we're given, I think we're starting with sine x, so the derivative would be cosine of x, right? And so your maximum m for cosine is going to be 1. And so instead of a 2 here, we should have a 1. So when you're working with your formula down below, this m here is going to be a 1 when you're trying to solve. And I'm going to get a number that is much larger than what you got. It's really a little difficult to read exactly what you've got here, unfortunately, but I think that you really need to end up with pi squared over n less than or equal to 1 over 100. And so if you're solving for n there and bringing the 1 over 100 over, you'll be ending up multiplying by 100 there. So I'm not sure exactly what the answer is, but I'm in the 900s, I think, according to what I've got here. So if you want to look those over and see if that makes sense, if you need clarification, then feel free to email me back. And I think you have a really good start, and you've done some good thinking here, and hopefully those tips will help get you through to the end.